What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Scevoli Show, guys. I'm back. It's okay. I know y'all hate me out there. I know. It's a forced habit. You just see this good-looking kid. I understand you. I understand. I get it. I get it. But I also have another good-looking friend of mine here today with me. You know, I just don't bring ugly people on this show. They're all good-looking to me, you know? Who knows, you know? But welcome back to the Scevoli Tonight Show, guys. We're back. And my special guest is Gianni V.
How's it going, man? How's it going? Thank you for having me on.
Do you like that intro, Gianni?
I love it. Absolutely beautiful. I don't think I've ever had an intro done so eloquently done for me, you know?
You're welcome. That's the Italian in me. It's the Italian, you know?
I love it. I love
Spaghetti
it.
and meatballs on the Sunday, you know?
Hey, you
Monday,
know,
but
I've got the Italian name. You know, it's perfect.
yeah, it's just a killer, you know? So, Gianni, my friend, how are you today?
I am good. I am here. I am living. Life's been wild, but we are slowly getting out of the woods, and I am very grateful for that.
Now, before we start, I just want to say that Gianni's dog went through something, guys, out there.
Yeah.
And he has a GoFundMe page for the little pup. Go donate, share it. I will share it in the bio, and then I will post it on my page. I posted on my page, but I'll do it again. But for Gianni and my little pup, that Star Wars pup, you know,
Yeah.
it's terrible how dogs are like humans to us, you know.
100%.
I had a dog; he passed away 2 years ago. You know, it was tough. It is tough. I'm laughing. I'm not laughing at it, but I'm like holding in my tears, you know, because it's hard to lose a friendly friend, you know. Just like in Star Wars, when you lose someone in Star Wars, it's like no, like I didn't want that. But but I'm glad the dog is doing okay. Me and Gianni talked before the show about the But before we start our Star Wars Tonight Show, how is the dog doing?
The dog is doing a lot better. He's in the recovery process. He ended up going through a major surgery with his intestines and stuff like that. So, you know, it's been a journey. Luckily, so far, the surgery was successful. Now there has been some complications with the healing because he's 7 years old. So, you know, going through that. So we're trying to basically mitigate everything with medicine. But the signs are actually looking very positive. Okay. So he's definitely, every day we see him getting better and better. So that gives us a lot of hope. So at this point, it's just basically a waiting game. But at least there's not a day goes by that we don't see progress in the right direction. So we're very grateful, but it's hard, man. They're like your children, and you don't realize it until something like this happens, and you're losing your mind. So so I appreciate you mentioning it on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm a animal lover, so like I know what it's like when the dog has surgery because there's so much money. You know,
oh yeah,
it's like it's more than a human. I think like surgery for an animal, you can't compare that to like a human. There's no way.
No,
but
you're right.
Yeah, I'm glad that the dog is doing well. I love the pup. I can't wait to meet him.
He's here. He's actually right here laying down.
Oh, he just hears me. You know, he just hears me. You know, I'm the dog whisperer. I'm the Scevoli whisperer. That's what they call me.
Ooh, nice.
You know, see what I did there? See, I'm great. I know. Gianni, you don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me. I know. But guys, I will put the GoFundMe page in the link so you can donate what you can or post the link, whatever you guys want. We're not forcing you to do anything, but you better donate to that damn dog. I will find you people and hunt you down. You heard me? Gianni's not here right now. It's me. You're talking to me. All right. Clear.
I'm back. Okay.
All right, there we go. Now we can start tonight's show, guys. Yes.
Nice. Let's do it.
Start. So my first question, Gianni, is to you. What, like, I asked this at the end of our show, but I want to ask it in the beginning of the show this time.
Okay.
So my dream project in Star Wars is a Thrawn animation from the comic.
Ooh,
you know, and then like a Clone Wars animation of Revenge of the Sith. You know, I love animation. Like I talk to people get tired of me probably talking about animation because I'm so biased. Like I love everything animation. Don't put it in live action. I'm team animation all the way. But what is your dream Star Wars project and why?
I would say it's gonna be. I would love a live action Revan series.
Oh,
Yeah. Have you read the book?
I'm not familiar with Revan. No,
That's
I know
okay.
who that is, but I'm
Yep.
not like I'm starting to read the books because I know the Acolyte is coming out like
Yes.
in the summertime, so I'm
Right.
getting prepared for like Darth Plagueis, like his
For
book with
sure.
Chancellor Palpatine and the other ones. But I'm not with the old Knights of the Republic yet.
Yeah, yeah, no worries. That book is insane. I'm not a huge reader. I've been reading, I would say, more as of late. I would say the past few months, I don't know, 7, 8 months or so. I just started really like getting into reading, but it's only just been Star Wars. I'm not like this guy that's just going to be like reading anything, right? And so I saw Revan. I was at like a Barnes and Noble. This is a long time ago, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start reading it, and it captivated me. It's like one of the only books that really like gripped me from like beginning to end. And I don't want to give anything away, but it is very intense. It is very action packed. And at the end of I want to say the end of the movie because it felt like a movie. But at the end of the book, I literally shed a tear.
Oh wow!
While reading it, and I don't think I've ever had an experience like that reading a book. But that is the experience I had reading Revan. So he has a lot of different layers to him that they explore in the book. So because Jedi, he went dark and then he went back Jedi, like the whole thing, and like exploring all of those different layers of him and exploring like his marriage and all those things, even though he was a Jedi. It's very intense. There's a lot of love in the book, but there's also a lot of like sadness. I'm not going to give it away, but if you like a book that is going to pull at your heartstrings, but also be like action packed and eventful, that's a great book.
It's like the Titanic.
It's like the Titanic, yeah.
It's just like the Titanic. Like we love it, and then it goes down, and then we love it again, and then just the boat just dies.
Yep.
No, that's
so that would be a great live action because the book is very. The book feels very dark, and I feel like we don't have a lot of dark Star Wars. And,
yeah, so I think the Star Wars, like, I'd say it's not for kids. No. It can be for kids because I don't like when people say, "Oh, Star Wars is for kids." Not really. If you really watch Star Wars, if you really sit down and watch it, like it's not, especially when the Acolyte comes out soon. There's gonna be darkness in that one. You know, like just look at the Bad Batch now. Look at Crosshair and stuff like that. Him shooting people and out of nowhere, just shot. Yeah. And look at the Clone Wars. Look what Ahsoka did, like Maul in the Clone Wars. Even in live action too, like the fight scenes and stuff like that. Like that's not. I wouldn't let my kid watch all that. Like if my kid is like probably like if my kid is like 10, 11 years old, okay. They can watch it, but I'm not gonna let a 6-year-old watch Star Wars. It doesn't make any sense. They won't know what's going on. Right. They can watch the Young Jedi Adventures with Nubs.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah.
But that's really much it. So like a dark series with like the Sith. I feel like a lot of people are waiting for that series. I'm not a Sith, but my favorite Sith is Asajj Ventress, which we will talk about after this.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we need something dark in Star Wars. And I don't know if you can agree, but I've always said this on my show, that after the Ahsoka series, something dark is coming, and it's not, I think it's really bigger than Thrawn at this point. I really don't think Thrawn's this evil mastermind, that's in the covers, in the dark. No, there's someone else coming, but I don't know what. But something is coming. I don't know if you can agree with me on that, but
I haven't thought about it until this point. I don't know.
That make you think on the show, Johnny. I make you think.
Yeah. In terms of that timeline, I don't really know who would be dark like that in that timeline. I would love to see something with like Darth Plagueis, but that's a different timeline.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I do know like Acolyte's supposed to be pretty dark.
Yes, I heard that.
So have you seen the trailer for that?
No, but Tony the Tiger, dope. Star Wars Sith. Tony the Tiger. He told me about it, and he told me it was really good.
It looks awesome.
Yeah, so I can't wait for it to be released. I don't know when Star Wars is going to release that trailer. If you're listening, Star Wars, I want the trailer. Just send it to me, and I'll send it to everybody else.
Well, did you see the emergence of the Twitter or X account that just popped up?
Yes, and it's like private, and then the Instagram account too. That it's private. So I'm like, okay, so when's this coming? It's supposed to be like May the 4th release. That's what they're aiming for. I've heard rumors about that aiming for the 4th of May, because I think the last episode of the Bad Batch is May 4th.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna release the show May 4th, because that's a weird time for it, because May 4th is this year's a Saturday, and they typically don't release things on Saturdays. Typically like a Tuesday or something like that. So I'm thinking maybe May 4th is going to be the trailer. Maybe release the website or the Twitter and the Instagram, drop the trailer, big, May 4th thing. And then obviously you have, I think this year's Phantom Menace you're going to have come out on May 3rd.
25th anniversary.
Yep. And so, you have the Phantom Menace, you release the Instagram and the Twitter, drop the trailer, and that's enough basically to keep us kind of at bay, because I heard something that potentially they were going to drop it in June.
Oh, okay.
So that gives you about a month, of advertisements, updated trailers and all that. And that's typically, I feel like, Disney's / Star Wars MO is dropping a trailer or whatever about a month before. Personally, I think that they should be dropping the trailers a little bit sooner, so that, and then really saturate the market with advertising. But they haven't really been doing that. But if it was me, I would be putting a lot of money into advertising, because, we need views. As creators, we want Star Wars to do really well. And so I want you to saturate the market with advertising, because I want the views. I want you
to give me my money. I want you to spend my money for me,
Yes, because then, the more people's eyes are on it, the more views it's going to get, the better it's going to do, the more projects we're going to get, because they're going to do more funding into the IP. So,
yeah. And then I feel like Star Wars hasn't done that marketing, especially with the Bad Batch.
No.
Like, where is that advertisement? You give us this amazing poster with my daughter front and center, like she always should. Omega. That's my daughter. But and then you give me nothing.
Nothing.
You give me absolutely dog nothing water. You give me nothing. I don't understand that. Like, you gave us like some statues. You gave us like statues of like all the Bad Batch. I don't know. It was like that Japanese website. I don't know how you say that word. But the statues of them, the animation statues, and then you drop a little Gentle Giant stuff of them, of course. But like, where's my Omega stuff? Where is she on a Gentle Giant? Where is she on a statue? Where she had one Funko Pop, all the Bad Batch. No, I could say the Bad Batch had 2 sets of Funko Pops. One with the mask, and then the GameStop exclusive, the 5-pack.
Right.
But where's more of that? Where's Crosshair's Imperial outfit on for a Funko Pop? Where's Commander Cody? Where's his Funko Pop that he should have got in Bad Batch? Now, Azad Ventress is coming back. Is she gonna have her first ever Funko Pop in Fungo? Where's that? Where are all these Funko Pops that we're creating Funko Pops for shows that I don't even heard of? I'm going what people are posting. What is that show? What is that show you're watching? Because I don't know what you're talking about. I never even heard of that show. But a Bad Batch, a Star Wars pop that we want, that the fans want, especially with these Star Wars Rebels going to be 10-year anniversary coming up in September, I believe. The 10-year anniversary. They came out with comics. They came out with a couple Fungos. Now we just need Keenan. I think another Zeb. And a Hera. I think that's what they came out with. Sabine and Ezra. Another Chopper we need. Maybe Hera with Chopper, Where is all that? Where is all that? I feel like everybody's hiding from the fact that Bad Batch had a great season 2, but where was their merch? You couldn't find anything at Bad Batch season 2. Maybe on her Universe, Ashley's website, they had some Hot Topic stuff like that. Those websites did have shirts, but where are the Funko Pops?
Yeah.
Where are the statues? Where is the like they don't have posters. Usually they post like, okay, like here, Captain Rex is back. They'll have a poster of him. But
Right.
where is season 3's posters of everybody? You know what I mean? They usually post the posters of the Bad Batch, and there's none.
Yeah.
They just drop like, oh, today it dropped, and a pose, of Hunter in the episode, or Crosshair in the episode. But where's
Yeah.
the
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I wonder if it has to do with funding. I wonder if they're not putting as much money into it because it's an animation and not a live action, and that's where most of their focus, I feel like, is at right now. But I don't know. It's a good point. I mean, there's such a big cult following for the Bad Batch, just like there was with the Clone Wars. So I would feel like it would only behoove them to put money into the figures because we're gonna buy them. I mean, like look at the Hasbro helmets, or anything Black Series. Like Black Series, there's not a lot of figures. They have them, but not a lot. Where are the pops, like you were saying, the posters? Like there's not a lot of those things. So I wonder if they're kind of spread thin because right now they announced a bunch of movies. They've got the Acolyte going to be dropping soon. We're talking about Skeleton Crew.
Now we have heard nothing of that series.
And we heard nothing of. Andor season 2 is going to drop sometime next year. They're working on the Rey movie, the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. I mean, there's a lot going on at once, which is great, especially for us, this is our love, this is our passion. But I almost wonder if they're spread a little too thin. I don't know. Just a thought, but yeah, I mean, I would love to have some Bad Batch posters and some pops, although I did stop collecting pops because they just started taking up so much of my space. So I had to offload a bunch of them just to kind of have space for the things that I wanted to keep more. But I love the pops. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but they come out with the same pops.
Yeah.
How many Darth Vaders are you need in the world?
I'm telling you.
Like, I understand you want the one that's damaged mask. I wanted that one too. I bought that one. I have it in my closet.
Yeah.
But the other Darth Vaders from Empire Strikes Back, from Return of the Jedi, from Obi-Wan, from other movies that Darth Vader was in, he has the same stance. It's not different, Fungo. That's not different. Even if you change the hand going this way to this way, it's still the same Vader. You cannot change it.
Right. We're not going to buy it twice. I mean, some people do, but I'm not going to buy it twice.
No.
Just because his arm went from this to this. Like, I'm not doing it.
But that's reality of what they do, though.
Oh, for sure.
Vader stands like this, and then he stands like this, and then he has one like this or two hands like this.
Yep.
Fight stand. Like, who wants that?
I know. Or how about the Revenge of the Sith Anakin? They re-released a bunch of times.
I know.
Like, how many times are you gonna drop that? Yeah, how many times?
And I understand, he came out with the Ahsoka series, and that's what that Anakin we saw, and they're like, oh my god, we can make more money off of this. But just make a whole new Anakin.
Right. Please.
Make a whole new Anakin with the Sith eyes.
Yeah.
Or not the Sith eyes, or maybe just him as the Force Ghost, but not paint the color as light blue, just paint the color as his color of his face, his hair, and stuff like that. But just don't, why you keep restocking on it? But people are going to buy that, of course, because if they didn't have it, or it's too much money on eBay or Mercari, they'll buy that one for $15. But when that sells out, you're going to restock it again.
Or that's create a new chase also.
Yeah.
Like a shiny version of it, or something that's within this batch that kind of separates it from the previous batches. Something. I don't know.
Yeah, like what they did with the Ahsoka Tano one. The one that's diamond. They made it diamond. Okay, I get that one. Because we don't have a really diamond collection of Star Wars.
Right.
So that was good by Her Universe, Ash's website, to make the Ahsoka Funko Pop from the Clone Wars season 4 as diamond collection, which I bought immediately. And
did you really?
I got it on an Australian website. Nice. Oddly Collectibles. That's where I got my I got my Darth Vader one, the damaged helmet from, because I wasn't waiting for Target to ship that damn thing out. Target takes too long sometimes. I'm sorry, I can't wait. I want it now.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I get it.
But,
Although Target did well by you with your Rex helmet.
They did. I did. My Rex helmet. You know, he's right there. He's just sitting next to me, like, yeah, Chris, you did good. I'm a
Just
new
hanging.
home.
That's
You know,
it.
he's
I
not
know you're
hanging
gonna take
anywhere,
care
but-
of me.
Yeah, he's like, you have to feed me. I'm like, no, I can't feed you. You don't have no mouth. You know,
It's like, but Chris, you're Italian, man. We're supposed to have like
you
basically
can put the
like
pasta
a buffet.
you can put the pasta in the helmet area and just start scooping the pasta out of it. That's
He's
a real
like, "Where's the
Italian
bread?
shit.
Where's
Yeah.
the bread, Chris? Where's the bread?"
Where's the garlic bread? You know. But yeah, like, where is all this? And you said something earlier that I get, but I hate. They focus time on live action.
Yeah.
You know, they're focusing on that. Why?
I
Because
mean,
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you my opinion about it. Then you tell me.
I don't know why, but my thoughts would be, I mean, Star Wars started as live action,
Of course.
you know, and so when you think about people like our parents' age and stuff like that, like when Star Wars dropped in '77, it was live action, and there's a piece of Star Wars that is so special to a lot of people, like the puppet creation and stuff like that. Like before they did a lot of CGI, and where you have the practical sets where like the ships and the practical explosions and stuff like that. That's an art form, and I think that's one of the reasons why so many people fell in love, because it was so ahead of its time at that time, and then they basically kept that trajectory even till now. I mean, obviously, yes, there's CGI and stuff that they are incorporating in a lot of it, but when it comes to like the characters and the puppets and the creatures and stuff, there's still that sense of like 77,
Yeah.
and so I think that's a big part of why they stay live action, or they have a main focus, is one, it started live action. Two, there's a lot of people that love like the creation and the art, like the art factor of that. And I don't know, man. Me personally, I'm also a live action guy. I feel like when it's live action, I could put myself in that person's shoes because it feels more real. Now, granted, I love the animations. I watch it. I'm all about it. I buy the stuff. But if I had to choose, I'm always going to choose the live action. Now, the thing though I like about animation personally is I feel like there's a lot of things that they can do in animation that is not possible in live action. Like certain fight scenes or body movements, or like, double flips and X, Y, and Z. That's just a lot harder to pull off live action, where they can really do that in the animation. So, there's a give and a take. There's a push and pull there. But I think that's really what it is. I think it just started in live action, and there's that nostalgic feel of Star Wars. And that's just my opinion. I really don't know, but that's what I would think.
Yeah, I like your opinion, Gianni. That made sense.
Yeah, so I don't know.
But I wasn't born in '77, people. I'm out of that.
Are you sure?
Born. I'm not 86 years old, that would be 80, but you have a point there. I like how you put it like that. And I understand, I get the opinion, I get it. But with me, like, I don't feel it in live action that I do in animation. Like,
Okay.
I don't feel like, for example, like the Anakin and Ahsoka scene in Ahsoka, like that was a beautiful moment. Everybody wanted it, a fan service moment, because people have been waiting for that for years.
Episode 5.
Yeah, episode 5. I watched it in the theaters. I watched it.
Oh, how was that?
It wasn't meant for the theater. If I can tell you that, it wasn't, because you see the whole. You watch it on your computer or you watch it on your TV. It's way different.
Yep.
So you're watching it in theaters, and then there's parts where, as you're watching the show, you could see who's in the background of the shot. Like, oh, that's Chopper. It was like fuzzy. Like you couldn't really see. Like you could tell it was Chopper or Hera or Jason, but you couldn't tell like okay, so what's going on back there? Like you couldn't see what they were actually doing, and your computer or your TV, you could see what's going on in that moment.
Right. It's very clear.
Yeah, so it wasn't that clear like the sides were. Like you could tell it was all fuzzy, but it
Yeah.
was worth it. It was nice. It was a fan service thing. Um, when that came on, and that it ended on episode 5, right, or episode 4, we saw Anakin.
I think we saw it on 4. So we saw him at the end of 4, and then it went into 5.
Going to 5.
Yep.
I really didn't feel it. Like I didn't.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't feel what everybody saw.
Oh.
It didn't really hit me.
Dude.
It didn't really like. And I'm a Ahsoka fan. I'm an Ahsoka and Anakin fan.
Yeah.
They're my favorite characters. I didn't feel it with that scene. I didn't. And even with Captain Rex is my favorite clone. I didn't feel Tamir Morrison. Oh, we'll get it, Commander. Like it didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. Like I'm used to D. Bradley Baker doing that voice,
Right.
and it didn't feel me. It didn't like grind my gears like it should have. Even when Luke met Ahsoka, or Luke, or in the book of Boba Fett, like we see them together, and it's like, oh my god, that's a great moment, but how the hell did you meet each other? Like,
Right.
where was that happening? Like, how do you just show up and be like, oh yeah, you just like your father, and be like, what? Like,
Yep.
what is that? What is that? How do they make that up? But yeah, I didn't feel that. Like everybody was like, yeah, whoa, and I'm like this eating popcorn.
That was me.
Yeah, Johnny's like punching the screen and stuff like that.
Dude, when he came on and like, you remember the part where he flashes between Anakin and Vader?
Oh yeah, that's the Vader we wanted.
Dude, I paused it. I was like, cut the show. Cut the show. I need a moment. I was like pacing. My wife is like, what is happening? I'm like, you don't get it. Just give me a moment.
Just leave me alone. Go in your room.
Yeah. So funny. Yeah. I don't know. For me, I think because too, I'm such a prequels kid.
Yeah, I love Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith is my favorite.
Yeah, 05, when Revenge of the Sith came out, I was in middle school. I think I was like in 8th grade, 9th grade, 8th grade? 05? I think I was like in 8th grade, right around there.
I was 6 years old.
You were 6, okay. Yeah, and so I remember that, and so like I watched all of them in theaters, I think. Maybe not all of them. Definitely the last 2. And so it was just a big deal, and so I don't know. Like, so I just met Hayden and Ewan at MegaCon, and when they were like turned around, just got done like taking a photo with somebody else, and when it was like my turn, they turned around and they're like just lit up. I was like, oh my god.
You hold me.
Yeah.
Hold me.
Yo, seriously. So just to see them again, like back in Star Wars, I think not only was the scene dope, right? Like episode 5, like that whole battle and that whole situation, and then, with Ahsoka, but just, I think a portion of it too, why everybody was freaking out, was that we had Hayden back.
Yeah.
And it's been years, so I think it was like a combination of the two, which is what made it such a big deal. So I think that's why. I understand your point though. Like, I feel like people get more attached to the animations because, one, I feel like there's more episodes, so they could really flesh out the stories and get into the nitty gritty of every character and their details, where the budget is too big for live action. So it's, it's shorter, shorter storylines. They're trying to get to the point. Like, it's just different, where you can really get into all the things. I think like animation is going to be the closest thing to like a book, because you can add more detail.
Yeah.
That's why, like, when you see people read a book and then they go and watch a movie or something, or like, it was nothing like it. It was terrible. And this and that, and I think it's kind of a similar feel when you go from animation to live action. You just could get more juice out of the squeeze, you know? So I get
and
it.
with me too, like I feel it more in animation than live action. Like I just said like a couple minutes ago, like I feel it more. Like when with Ahsoka, like talking to Maul about Anakin, it's like that's so heartbreaking. It's like you could feel that in live action. I don't think you could have pulled that off because even with Rosario saying Anakin, like I didn't feel that. Like I was like, oh, that was disgusting. You know, like
really,
like I didn't feel it. Like I like him calling her Snips. I'm like, no, don't do that. You know, like I'm like the grandma that goes, no, get off my lawn. You know, but I just didn't, and people are gonna hate me for it, but it's okay. I don't really care because I really feel like, you know, if you really watch that scene, like Rosario hasn't been playing Ahsoka that long, and she gets that. You know, she like, and this is my problem too with live action, like, and the dedication of these workers, animation and live action. Right. You know, Hayden came back great. You know, he's not my Anakin. Matt Lanter is like the voice. I love Matt Lanter. You know, because what he brought to the Clone Wars and everything. You know, he brought that character to life when everybody hated Anakin in Revenge of the Sith. You know, like. And that's my problem with live action and with the people writing live action. Like, how are you going to put Hayden and Rosario on the screen together? And that's a fan service moment. That's fan service. But Ashley and Matt have been playing that character longer than those two ever. And you're going to put that scene in live action because everybody wants to see it, but not in animation where people will love that scene. You know, maybe more people will love that scene. You know, and they deserve it. Matt and Ashley deserve that moment. You know, and we as fans that have grown up with the Clone Wars, because I grew up with the Clone Wars, I think that's why I like it more than live action. Like how you grew up with like the live action and people 1977. Yep. I graduated to live animation because I felt it more.
Yeah.
Like if people ask me all the time, like my friend's wife asked me the other day, she was like, "Why don't you like live action? Like, why don't you like, because don't you like it real life? Like she is real life Ahsoka." But I was like, no, I really don't. Like I really don't. Like, and it's no knock to Rosario Dawson because she does a beautiful job portraying Ahsoka. Like she does beautifully and she does a great job. Yeah. But my Ahsoka is Ashley Eckstein. You know,
so my question to you then, if they would have brought Ashley in to play Ahsoka live action, how would you felt about that?
I would love it. Don't get me wrong.
I'm here for it. Yeah.
I'm here for it. I personally, and like Sabine Wren, I love Sabine. She's my favorite Mando.
Yeah.
What Tia brought to that character in Star Wars Rebels and The Force of Galaxies, Destiny of the Galaxy, another animation show, beautifully done.
Yeah.
And she posted when the Ahsoka series came out. I don't know if you saw it, but it was like not a diss, but it was like her with the purple wig on. I think it's still on her page, so I sent it to you. But she posted something about it, like something not. I don't know if it was a diss or something like that. Probably it was a little diss. I would imagine it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, exactly, like something like that, you know. But like Thea would have been a perfect Sabine. Like she would have been a perfect live action Sabine. She had it. She might have not had the features or whatever they were looking for, but like to me, Natasha didn't bring that to me. Didn't bring that Sabine. It was like a new Sabine that, oh my God, like who are you? Like I don't even know the Sabine we're talking about right now. Like who is this girl? You know what I mean? And with Ezra too, Ezra's one of my favorite characters. He's number 3 on the list. Iman did a great job. Like he looks exactly like I can't really complain. Like I can't.
No, he's Ezra like, for sure.
He's Ezra. He is Ezra in the flesh. Like he would look like that if it was a real life Ezra Bridger, that would be Iman. Iman would
for sure. For sure.
Real life. Yep. But Tyler Gray will always be my Ezra. You know what I mean? Like Tyler Gray, who voiced him, will always be because what he brought to that character. But going back to your question, I think Ashley would have killed it. You know, and I was hoping she was going to be part of it. I hope she would have been part of it, but Dave Filoni was like, no. Like, not. I'm not saying he said that, but I'm
Right.
saying like, he was like, no, this wouldn't possibly work. But to me, you know, Rosario has the features. She does. She has
She
the
looks like
color.
Ahsoka.
She
Yep.
looks like Ahsoka. If she looks like the old Ahsoka from gonna be probably in the Rise of Skywalker, Last Jedi type stuff.
Hmm.
Ashley would have been perfect. She would have been, but would she have
Yeah.
the features? Probably not.
Right.
What if you see her on Instagram? She does look like Ahsoka when she does the makeup and everything. She kills it. Don't get me wrong.
For
Oh
sure.
my god, she kills it. But I think they were looking for another one that was matching Ahsoka's skin tone too. You
Yeah.
know, of a caramel color, and then just
Hmm.
paint her like orange.
Right.
So it was easier to go that route than paint a whole other woman orange. Like, and
Right.
it wouldn't look right, but it would look to me. It would be like, oh my god, Ashley, fine, do it. I'm down. But I
Yeah.
think when I first saw her in The Mandalorian, I wanted to hear the voice, and I was really disappointed not to hear Ashley's voice because of how hard she worked for the character. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Right.
And I guarantee it. Like, Lucasfilm didn't even ask her. Didn't even give her props. Didn't even give. And that's what I don't like, and that's the problem I think I have with people saying, "Oh, live action's better," because Star Wars puts more money into live action. They're
Hmm.
putting more time and effort into live action. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, they're putting their time into the live action that everybody wants to see. But the poor
Right.
animation that is killing the charts, and Clone Wars was #1 on their Disney Plus series, beat every live action series out of it.
Right.
When Ahsoka became live action, who's Ahsoka Tano? Oh my god! People that never watched the animated series watch the damn animated series. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't like how they just push those people aside. No, you should be welcoming them. You should be like, even when a couple Star Wars posts, they posted Rosario as Ahsoka. But where's Ashley's Ahsoka? Where's that
Hmm.
Ahsoka that everybody grew up with?
Right.
Everybody could relate, because a lot of, no offense to women out there, but you are a little snippy at that 14-year age. You are a little
Right.
snippy, and everybody could relate to that. Everybody can relate to that teenager girl that's a little arrogant. Even guys can. Like, I did it. Like, I was 14. I thought I was the shit. No one could tell me wrong. We all
Right.
have that. And I think that's with Anakin too. Like, Anakin was like that. And as you watch him progress through Clone Wars, it's like, okay, we could see a better picture of how he is with turning to the dark side. But still, I always will have that doubt where he should have never turned to the dark side, because it still doesn't add up in even the Clone Wars. You watch it, you see some things, but it's like, okay, can we get on board with this? But if
Right.
Ahsoka, see now, I'm biased with this too. If Ahsoka was there at the temple, I don't think Anakin would have turned to the dark side, because of
No.
how their connection was. People say like Obi-Wan was that figure. He was never that figure for Anakin. Never. He never wanted that task to train him. He said that in the movie. I'm not
Right.
training this kid. Not my duty. I'm going to train with other people, cooler people. And I think, and Anakin had to train by himself most of the time. Because we don't even see their training methods.
Right.
You see Anakin get a Padawan, Ahsoka Tano, and then we watch their relationship progress, and we watch what it becomes in Rebels, and then now in live action. Now, the only thing I liked of the Ahsoka series was that Darth Vader. Look at that Darth Vader, and look at the Darth Vader we got.
Yeah.
There's no stopping the Ahsoka Darth Vader. There is
Right. Yeah.
There was his red eyes, and now that goes back to everybody's theory. Ahsoka did change him back to the light side, if you really put it that way.
Yeah.
And that just answers everybody's question too, somewhat. I'm not saying it answers it completely. I'm saying it answers it in, okay, I choose to live, and he changes it back.
Yeah.
He
So
finally
what
comes
is your
to.
So if they would have casted Rosario like they did, but they dubbed over with Ashley's voice.
Oh, I would have died. I
He
think I
would
would
have
cry. I would cry.
done.
And then have Matt do the voice of Anakin. Oh, Gianni, I would have left. Someone would have had to carry me out of New York City because I would have been bawling.
So for me, I thought they might have done that, but not with Rosario, because Rosario, that's obviously an older Ahsoka than what we see in Clone Wars. I thought they were gonna do that when they're in the Siege of Mandalore section, and you
Yes, I
had
thought-
young Ahsoka. I thought they were gonna do Ashley's voice dubbed over the young actress, and they didn't do that, and I was very, very surprised. That would have been epic.
That would have been amazing. And then I don't know if you saw that video of someone doing it. They dubbed the voice.
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, I think I have it saved on Instagram. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
It's her when she says with Anakin and Anakin says, "Oh, this was a tough fight. Like it was brutal. You know, the Siege of Mandalore." And it's Matt's voice and Ashley's voice. Gianni, I'm not gonna say anything because it's just amazing.
You just died and went to heaven.
I died and went to heaven. Like it's just imagine that.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what like kills me inside as like an Ahsoka fan, like and an Anakin fan, like animation fan. Like, can we get that in animation? Like, can we? Like, there's so much we can get. Can we at least get that moment, please? Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Or her like send off to Anakin, or him training again, her training, whatever they want to do. Like in the Tales of the Jedi, you know, you have that story coming up. You know, maybe they'll do something with that, but I don't think they'll tell another Ahsoka story. There's so much story you could tell, of course.
For sure.
They might not.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know. That would be crazy though. I do think that when Bad Batch is over, because it's only going to be 3 seasons, I think they're going to introduce another animation.
I hope so. And I think it's in the Zaz Venture show. I'm calling it. I think
that would make sense because we're about to see her soon.
Yeah, and then she said on another podcast that this is just an appetizer. What's to come is something.
Snap.
So it could be Tales of the Jedi. It could be Tales of the Jedi too.
That's true.
It could be that. It could be a Zaz Venture's 3 episodes and someone 3 episodes. That'd
be dope.
I would love it. And I think another show that I've talked about it on my show with the Drunk Wookie, that a path show. Like, see how the path came about of how many Jedi went through the path. You know? Like Caleb and Quinlan we see go through the path. But who else, you know? Like, who else is alive out there that we don't know of or make canon? You know, maybe some Jedis are non-canon, but now we can make them canon when we introduce them.
Yep.
You know? But I think it's coming. I think it's going to be a Zod's Venture show or a Captain Rex animated show.
I think it's going to be a Asajj Ventress, and here's why. Disney Parks just released a special edition Asajj Ventress case with lightsabers in it, with her lightsabers. They're not just going to, I don't feel like they're just going to do that just to do that.
Yeah.
So I feel like more is definitely coming, especially with her saying that, you know, this is just an appetizer. Watch. I'm pretty sure there's either going to be a show with it's just going to be about her, or she's going to be a heavy player in another show. I just got the Dark Disciples book because I don't know too much about her, so I want to learn. I haven't started reading it. Is it good? Have you finished it?
Yeah, it's really good.
Okay.
But the ending, it's not gonna. I'm just gonna say the ending does not match up with the Bad Batch. I'm just gonna tell you that. So, like, when
I know, because she dies.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say I didn't want to spoil it for you.
No. Yeah, she dies, but supposedly Bad Batch is going to honor what happened in the book. So I'm assuming they're going to do something in the show that's going to be like, oh, okay. You know, maybe like she didn't actually die, or maybe she did like an Ahsoka thing where she went into the world of worlds, or I don't know, something of that sort where she didn't actually die, or she came back to life of some sort.
Or like the Night Sisters, maybe the Night Sisters.
Or something like that. So, yeah, because they said they were going to honor the book, so we'll see. Yeah,
because Asajj Ventress dies at the hands of Dooku, and Dooku's gone. He's dead. So that, like, if you're gonna honor that, you cannot honor that
Right.
unless Dooku never died. His head is still floating around Star Wars somewhere, going on a new body.
If he
But
didn't die, then I need Mace Windu to be back.
yeah. Now, my other question to you is: now we talked about Azad's Ventress living. Now I have a what if series on my show. I have a multiverse series,
Okay.
and I do a lot of other what ifs. So I did Mace Windu.
Okay.
To my knowledge, how I wrote this, and I love. Now I'm biased again, Gianni. Don't hate me. I love animation Mace Windu. T.C. Carson kills it with that character.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, in my opinion, I would have an animation series of Mace Windu because you can't have Samuel Jackson looks great. Don't get me wrong, looks great. He's in his late 70s now. He's in his, I think he's in his late 70s or 70s.
Yeah.
He can't be jumping around. Even if you do it double, you can't, like, what? Like, you can't have that really. In reality, and I'm being realistic about the series.
Sure.
Because I want the series to happen. I really do. You can even let Samuel Jackson voice Mace Windu if you really want.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, if you really want. Or you put T.C. Carson, but I'd rather have T.C. Carson because I like T.C. Carson. I'm a big fan of him and his music. So, but he's alive. He has to be alive. It's just not that he gets thrown out a window and
that's
he's dead. And he stopped at Burger King on the way home. You know, he just that doesn't make sense. If we saw his body, all right, he's dead. You know, we saw his body, blood splattered all over and stuff like that. He's dead. But to me, Mace Windu is an interesting character because of his. I don't want to say the wrong word, but I'm going to say this word. But I know you're going to get it, but other people might. Judgmentalness, like his arrogantness. That's arrogantness to other people, and to how he treated people, and how he followed politics like Yoda. Yoda followed politics better than the Force. The Force got clouded at the end because it was in too deep.
Right.
Just like with Mace Windu. It was just in too deep. Your vision is clouded. You can't really get out of that unless you have a really breakthrough in the Force.
Right.
But Mace Windu fell because of that. It wasn't because of anything else. It was because of what happened with the Jedi. You fell for the politics, and that's why I always loved Ahsoka and Qui-Gon. I think they're two similar people, and I always talk about this on my show. Qui-Gon always followed the Force. Ahsoka had to walk away from the Council to see what they were really about. Because they treated her. They treated her like a whole, we're going to strip you of all your commands. I'm going to strip you of your ponytail that you got going on there, your jeans, everything. They were taking everything from her.
Yeah.
You know? And it wasn't her fault. And Anakin was the one that believed her. And she knows that. Of course she does.
Right.
But with Mace Windu, it's like, when you really open up your eyes, like, you see something's happening, but you're just gonna follow the Force, or your vision is clouded, and I'm done. Like, all right, I'm good, you know. And that's what I blame the Jedi fall on. I blame the Jedi fall on their arrogance, you know. And going back to, we haven't seen Mace Windu. Where is he? Jedi were so ashamed of what happened. They were so they blamed themselves, and it's rightly so. They blamed themselves because it was you guys who did that. You know, it wasn't the clones. Like, you could have known. Like, in the Clone Wars, you knew something was going on with the clones, but you wanted to go, okay, let's brush that under the rug. You know, let's. They're great, you know, but in reality, they're not. You know, and I think Mace Windu. The only way you can bring Mace Windu back is you start from the window scene. You can't give me, hell no, you cannot give me a series where we see Mace Windu in a swamped area with one eye and an electric arm. I'll turn it right off.
Yeah.
You cannot start from that. You could start from him, and this is how I did it in my series, the What If Mace Windu survived? Him telling the story. You could have him sitting at a pond or a swamp talking to children And you could tell it, and then flashbacks. You could just keep telling flashbacks, but you cannot start the series. I'm sorry. I will hate that. If you start the series, him on a swamp planet eating fish. Or someone wants to meet this mysterious figure on this planet, but his name is Sokolorin or something. He makes up a new like Windu or Winda or something like that. Or his name in the book. You know, his Cal name, his Haru Hakal name, you know?
Yeah.
Or that name. No. But Mace Windu. But yeah, I wouldn't like that. Like, you have to start from when he flew out that window. What happened when he went out that window? Because it would be one hell of a short, limited series, 3 episodes escaping Coruscant. Because you weren't getting off Coruscant by yourself.
No shot.
So that's my opinion. That if they do a Mace Windu show, have it in animation. It would make more sense, and it would captivate it more. If you want to have a limited animation series, 6 episodes, and then tell the rest in live action, okay, that's fine. But you have to start. You can't give me a Mace Windu from Revenge of the Sith, and now Samuel Jackson's like 77 something years old.
It's not gonna
work.
He
can't be falling that windows.
No.
Or deep fake him, but so far Star Wars doesn't really have good deep fake. It doesn't.
Not yet.
It's not really good. You know, they're working on it. Anakin was pretty good, but it could be worked on.
For sure.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't know if you agree with that one.
For sure. Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. Maybe they could do something with like Tales.
That too.
You know, it wouldn't be a lot of episodes, but it would, you know, kind of give us a snapshot of what happened, and then maybe that can lead us into something else, you know? But I 100% agree. If you just give us, you know, a Mace Windu without telling the story of what happened there, we're all going to be like, yo, bro, like, what happened to you, though? You know? And so, I don't know, but I 100% agree. I really have nothing to add because I'm on the same page with you on that 100%. Yeah, it wouldn't make any sense for them to do that. A lot of fans would be very upset.
Yeah, like if you're just cutting, like what they did with the Book of Boba. You know, like we got Boba in the Mandalorian. And then I thought we were gonna get this badass Boba Fett. No, it was like a grandma retired on Wall Street. You know, like what happened to that badass? Fennec Shand was more badass than you.
For sure.
And that's why I feel like Book of Boba Fett won't have a season 2. It shouldn't have a season 2.
It wasn't that good, no.
It wasn't. Out of all the live action shows, Book of Boba Fett was the weakest.
I agree.
And then I don't know if you liked Endor. I kind of liked Endor. Like it was weird, but not seeing any Jedi. But it was a new feel. It was like a James Bond type of series, a sci-fi series. I didn't finish it. Just I wasn't big on it. Maybe I finished 8 or 9 episodes, but it really didn't catch my eye. Really, Endor.
Yeah, Andor has a weird place for me. So I'm a really big fan of Rogue One.
I like Rogue One.
And Andor obviously, plays right into that. But Andor had a lot of very boring parts for me. But it was so interesting because they poured so much money into it.
It did.
It was a cinematic masterpiece visually.
Yes.
But the story, I was like, oh, and I get everybody was like, oh, this is Star Wars for adults. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm just a big kid and I'm okay with that. Because I didn't love it at all. Now that I watch all of it, am I excited for season 2? Because I really loved Rogue One. So I want to see where
they go.
I want to see where it goes. But I don't know. I feel like the beginning part of Andor for me was really cool, but then when they got locked up, to make the parts for the Death Star, I was like, I'm kind of bored at this point, and then the Great Escape afterwards, and well, you haven't finished it yet, so
that's all right. I was gonna finish it anyway, bro.
Oh, okay. So I don't know. I want to see what they do. I'm hoping that season 1 was just a big build up, and then season 2 is going to be like the big splash. Because they poured a lot of money into it, and they just finished filming it.
Yeah, they did.
Season 2. So I'm excited for anything that comes out that's Star Wars. I'm hoping that season 2 is a redemption and that it plays right into Rogue One, because that would be epic. Because then it's basically like, you have your 2 seasons, and then the payoff is Rogue One. Fire.
Now the guy who played the Mandalorian, Brandon Wayne, says there won't be a season 4.
Yeah, I heard that.
It's just say a movie. And now, to me, that's how you end the Mando series. In a movie, in a 3-trilogy movie.
Yep.
You end it.
That'd be dope.
And there's no more Mandalorian. Because I feel like season 1, it was a twist. It was a great. Season 2, you brought in some other people. Season 2 was weak. Season 3 was weaker. I think season 3 was not good at all. It was just like, where are we going from here? What are we doing now? Like, with the story, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And like I said this last week, and I said this the week before with Grogu. What are you doing with Grogu? Like, where's his badassery? Where's this Jedi jumping around with his Mandalorian Beskar flinging his lightsaber around? Where is that Grogu? I thought we were going to see that when the end scene in the last episode of The Mandalorian, when they fought Moff Gideon. And I'm like, why is he not kicking these Royal Guards' ass? Like, why? He's just jumping around. He's skipping, going, and then he falls. It's all cute and all. Don't get me wrong. I was like, come here. Like, I just want to love you.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah.
Like, we want to see some badass. And I hope we get some badass in this Mando Grogu movie. Because if I'm sitting there and Grogu is doing nothing for the hour and a half or 2 hours that I'm sitting there, I want my money back. Like, I didn't sign up for this.
Right.
I didn't sign up for Mando going through the galaxy and stuff like that. Like, that's all good and all, but you could have just put an episode out like that.
Yeah, I don't think that they're going to do much different for the movie. And the reason I say that is because they are going to basically, the Mandalorian is everywhere. You can't go to the grocery store and not see Grogu and Mando on a grocery bag or a magazine or a
like
toy.
Goldfish.
Yeah, it's everywhere. So what they're going to do, in my opinion, is that I think the movie is going to be a standalone from the series, because the way that season 3 ended, it kind of ended with a nice little bow on it. You know, he was in his little like house cottage thing. It was kind of peaceful. Like, it was kind of almost like a reset. And I think it's kind of the perfect thing to start with a movie. Now, if the first movie does really well, I feel like they're going to be like, okay, green light. This was great. Let's create another one. But specifically for the first movie, I think they're going to keep Grogu maybe a little bit more advanced than where he left off in the show, but not so far advanced where people who are not as versed with Star Wars as you and I, they're not completely lost in like, what happened to the cute baby?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we don't want those people to be completely lost, And I also think the movie's going to be a completely different story than what was happening in the shows. Now, it might have some ties for like us fans that really know what's going on, but if they do it to where you need to watch season 1, 2, and 3 in order to watch the movie, I think that's going to be a big mistake.
Definitely. And I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to put Bo-Katan in it. Like, rest in peace, Carl Weathers. I wish he got to do the movie. But like, you have all that, you have all that into it. It's like, what can you do now? What are you leading this 3 trilogy, because it's not Mando flying around Grogu for the 3 movies.
Right.
Is it going to be like To the Heir to the Empire movie? Is it going to be a movie that leading up to Snoke? Like,
right.
Because in reality, the 3 movies that we got, 7, 8, and 9, they weren't really good for me. Like, I didn't really enjoy them. Because there's no story to them. Like, who is Rey? Who is Kylo? You know, we only know certain parts of their story.
Right.
If their story were fleshed out, maybe people would like it more and stuff like that.
Right.
But with this Mando and Grogu movie, what story are you telling with these 3 movies? You know, the only story that we both can think of on the top of our head is a Thrawn movie, a Heir to the Empire, Ahsoka, okay, Bo-Katan, Boba Fett. But to me, that's why I say something else is coming.
Now, they did talk about doing like a Mandoverse movie. Do you think this is going to play into that? Because I don't believe that The Mandalorian and Grogu is actually what they announced as Dave Filoni's movie. Because this movie is really a Jon Favreau movie with, you know, with Dave Filoni
with
in
everybody else.
With everybody else. So I wonder if this is going to be like its own subset of things, and then might have hints to whatever Dave Filoni is going to be creating. You know, I don't know, but that would be interesting. Very interesting.
Because I think, I don't know what the timeline of every movie comes out. I don't know. I think the first one comes out in 2025. And I think it's the Rey one, or it's the Grogu one, maybe in 2026. I'm not too sure. But the Rey one, I'm not excited for. I don't really don't understand what they're doing with that one. Because why are you going to throw 15 years after the Rise of Skywalker? What about the first year? What about the days after the Rise of Skywalker that is leading up to another movie that you could make out of Rey? You know what I mean?
They might do animation.
Yeah, like you could do something like that. But I don't think they're going to show that. I think they're called the sequels, right? I get confused with this. Those are sequels.
Yeah. Yes.
I get confused saying the prequels and the sequels and stuff like that.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, it's too much words in Star Wars. But with the sequels, I don't think really anybody enjoyed them. Like, they didn't really. The people enjoyed them. I'm not saying everybody hated them, but people sat there and watched. Were like, what? Like, what are we watching? Like, what is this What is this doing? Like, what are we watching here? And that's what I don't want to do with Mando and Grogu, because people love those 2 characters, you know. And now you're going to make a trilogy, because you can make a trilogy out of Mando and Grogu stuff, and then you have Dave Filoni's movie. You have too many movies going on, people here, and too many different timelines. Then you have a movie that we don't know much about, but it's like 10,000 years before the Phantom Menace, or 1,000 years, or whatever, or 500, whatever it is, 100 years before the Phantom Menace. I don't know what it wants. The first ever Jedi, you know, and that's a good story to tell. Okay, because we always want to know how the Force works and who was ever the first Jedi, because there's so much canon and some non-canon that we know and not. So that's a good movie. But the Rey movie doesn't make sense to me, and I'm not bashing Daisy Ridley at all. I'm not. But
no, it's not her.
It's not her. Star Wars, what are you doing with your life? Like, are you just at this point shitting out movies? Like, are you just like, here's 10 million, go do this movie, and then you're telling the movie that we're like, what? Like, what? What is this movie even about? Like, there's no lead up to this movie. You know what I mean? Like, I understand, like, if Finn's in it, like, the 25 years, but I don't think he'll come back, John Bodega, of how they treated him in the 7, 8, and 9. They should have made him a Jedi. I always wanted Finn to be a Jedi. It was leading up to that. Just like now going backwards with Sabine becoming a Jedi. There's no fleshed out story. I'm sorry for that. That should have never happened. Sabine should have never became a Jedi. She's my favorite Mandalorian, one of favorite characters. But she should have never been a Jedi until it was fleshed out. And that's what Star Wars' problem is. They do it, and then they don't go backwards and show you how it became that. You know? Like with Finn, like you're holding a lightsaber. You're holding a blue lightsaber. And you're going up against Kylo Ren. Was it Kylo Ren he was going up against? I think it was Kylo. Going up Kylo Ren. He lost, but Finn didn't die. But he held his own, Finn. He held his own. Yeah. We get that. And then after that, okay, we're done. All right, he had a lightsaber, congrats. But Sabine Wren, that we know nothing of her Force abilities, trained with Ahsoka Tano. But Finn, it was in 3 movies.
Yep.
You fleshed it out to become a Jedi. Fleshed it out. And nothing. But Sabine Wren, 1 episode. Oh, yeah, I trained her. She didn't do so well. What? And that's my problem with that's my problem with the Ahsoka series too. That Sabine should have never became a Jedi, or she should have became a Jedi later on in life. Later on. Like, don't give me Tales of the Jedi now of how Ahsoka trained Sabine Wren. I would love it because it's two animations and the 2 voice actors doing it. Of course, I'm down. But now you're going to tell me the story? Just like how Luke and Ahsoka met. You're going to tell me that story now? I wanted it before that. I wanted to be like, oh my fucking God. They met. Not, oh, they met already. But let's go retrace their steps and see how they met this time. Like, really, Star Wars?
Yeah. Yeah, Star Wars does a lot of things backwards. They do a lot of things all over the place, you know, because then you have the original trilogy, the OT, and then you got the prequels, and then you got the sequels. It's like they're taking the cups and they're like, you know, just flipping things around, you know. And I think at this point I'm kind of used to it. I'm just kind of like, all right, what timeline are we jumping into today?
Yeah, like it's like I get it, I'm okay with it, but sometimes it makes me angry. Like, it's like, why are you telling me this story, but you can't tell me the other stories? So what made you think of this story, but you can't tell the real actual story of what really happened? Like, Dave Filoni said, oh yeah, I have a story for Luke and Ahsoka when they met, but I thought it was great to put Luke and Ahsoka together in the Book of Boba. Why? Why would you put that? You know people are going to flip their ass backwards for that, you know? Yeah. But you're showing that in live action where we don't know how they met. But then you're going to tell me probably an animation of how they met. Or in the Ahsoka series. But you can't time jump. Ahsoka and Sabine are in Peridia. You cannot, like, it doesn't add up. Right. You know what I mean? And what about Leia? Ahsoka must know about Leia. You know? For sure. So, like, it doesn't really, to me, Star Wars is like a backward story. Like, it's like, we're going to tell you the story that people want, fan service, but we're not going to tell you that story until, like, 2030, when everybody's dead. Or, like, when everybody wants it, but we're waiting 8 years for that. Like, yeah. Like, come on, we don't want
I'm hoping that now with Dave Filoni at the helm and really going to have a lot more power, that hopefully he can kind of rearrange a lot of this. That's my hopes, because he's the mastermind now, right? He is literally the heir to the Empire, right? Ooh. Yeah. So I'm hoping that he does it right and basically corrects a lot of the things that has been going on, and that Disney allows him to do so, because you know that there's a lot of execs in the background trying to put their hand in the cookie jar and jacking things up, because who knows how much, like, Lucasfilm is like, no, we want to do it X, Y, and Z, and Disney's like, no, because we need to make money and we're going to do it our way.
It's not about a story. Sometimes I feel like with Lucasfilm, it's not a story that you're telling, it's the money that you're making. Of course you're going to make a Rey movie, it's going to make millions, of course, but there's no story to it. If there's no story to it, oh, well, we made millions off it, we can make another one. But then we can come on my show or your show or someone else's show and bash it. And I know, in reality, Star Wars has people everywhere watching people's reactions, breakdowns, reaction videos to movies, reactions to shows, to get their opinion on it. On social media, you cannot tell me you're going to make a Book of Boba Fett Season 2 with all the hatred it's been getting. Or it was no story. You're not going to put that Book of Boba Fett Season 2. I'm sorry. Like, you're just at this point, you're just wasting your money on something that should have been in Season 1, because you're making up for the mistake in Season 1, you want to put it in Season 2.
Right. 100%. 100%.
I'm thirsty. See how much water I'm drinking? I'm drinking like 2 pounds of this. Star Wars just gets me flustered.
Oh man, I know. Same.
But anything else you want to talk about, Gianni, before we head out?
No, man. Just thank you for having me on. This has been a blast.
Don't lie to me, Gianni. I'm going to watch other episodes you're on now with other people. Don't keep repeating the same stuff.
Whoa.
I know where you live now. I know what you're buying a house now. I know what you're doing.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, it's cool because like I don't really get to, besides like, being here online with my friends, I don't get to really talk Star Wars outside of my internet community or with my wife. So it's funny because a lot of like my immediate friends here are not Star Wars people.
Oh, wow.
So I had to find you guys online, and it's been a huge blessing, and I'm very grateful for everybody that I've been able to meet through this journey of being a Star Wars creator. So it's pretty cool, man. So thank you for having me, and guys, stay tuned because we're going to be figuring something else out for my channel.
Yeah. Woo! I gotta do the Wookiee. I can't sound like a Wookiee, but you know what I mean.
That's terrible, but it's close enough.
Terrible, but you tried. That sounded like
Right.
an honor dying, but you did good. You did good, Jim. I give it to you, bro. I give it to you, man. But before we go, where can everybody find you on the social medias?
Yeah, so you can find me across all platforms at I am Gianni V. It's the same everywhere, whether that's YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, which I don't really use, but I have it, TikTok, you name it. Everything is at I am Gianni V. I go live every Tuesday for the Wookiee Whispers podcast at 8 p.m. And I also do a lot of review videos, which is basically the second bulk of my channel. We do lightsaber reviews, helmets, Legos, you name it. We do it. So yeah, man, I am Gianni V across all platforms.
That was amazing.
Thanks.
But thank you, Gianni, for coming on the show and talking Star Wars with me. Come back
For
anytime,
sure.
even if you just want to come talk to me on my show. We just make an episode up. It's the
Let's do
Tonight
it.
Show. Anything can happen on the Scevoli Tonight Show. But I will put all his socials in the bio, all where you can stay in contact with Gianni V. Thank you, Gianni. Make sure you guys subscribe down below to the YouTube channel, The Scevoli Show, for more awesomeness, guys, and Scevoliness and Star Warsness. Be kind to one another, and thank you guys for joining me on the Scevoli Tonight Show featuring Gianni V. Yay! Bye!
In my life, when you find people who need your help, you help them, no matter what.